Alright, folks, welcome back to the Boys in Green podcast. It's time for episode 4. Not had a podcast in a long while, and I apologise for that, but we're back today looking ahead to the Scottish Cup semi final against Aberdeen at the weekend. We'll also have a wee discussion of the events that's happened over the last week in regards to the title race. I'm joined by Alistair. How are you doing, Alistair?
I'm good, Josh.
Right.
I'm good.
What have you made of Celtic the last few weeks? Obviously, we've not been on for a long time.
Um, we've been we've been we've been reasonably consistent, Josh, and we've managed to put ourselves in a better position than we were before. So can't complain really, and we'll move on from there.
Aye,
All,
definitely. I think when you go, so
all things considered, and I think no doubt we'll get into it, but I think we're all feeling more and more confident about the league, but on to the semi final.
I think obviously with the events that's happened this week, um, I think the confidence that we can go ahead and get this league, and I think I'm not going to say it's won. I don't personally think it's won yet, and I wouldn't come out and say it's won because there's still 5 games to be played. So
Yeah,
we've still to play Rangers at Celtic Park as well. So there's still games that we could potentially trip up. I've been consistent really, even when the Rangers drop points over the last week against Ross County and Dundee. I've still said it's still a bad half, in one of those games that you know you could potentially slip up. Rangers could slip up as well, and the way that how they're dealing with this at the moment, it maybe looks like they could drop more points before the season's out because I think I think the big thing, and we will just also go into the semi final, but I think it is important that we address this. I think you've seen the mentality of Rangers this week, and there's no doubt that Philippe Clement is feeling the pressure with some of the stuff he's coming out with.
he always he always was an angry man, Josh. I mean, he strikes me as the type of manager a bit like Neil Lennon in many ways. Okay when things are going well, but when cracks start to appear, it, it tends to that's when you find out the class of a manager, and can I elaborate on that? If you look at and I'm going to give the Celtic way a bit of credit with that, when they put the press conference of Brendan Rodgers at iBox after the game, it was calm, it wasn't raving, it
Uh,
wasn't it, it was a manager that thought, long way to go. I'll play it down and and I'll um and I'll put the players at ease and also what I would say is, and I said this at the time, that over celebration of them at the end would come back and bite them on the bum. So
right.
and you're in mute, I think.
I think you raise a good point when it comes to how they celebrated the Glasgow Derby draw at Ibrox. I understand they came for 2-0 down, good result, but the way they celebrated, and I said at the time, I says that's no a great mentality for me. And I'm not saying people shouldn't celebrate, coming back and draw me your rivals, but that was for me was over celebration. Um, that was an over celebration for me, and then it's backed up because the following week they go and drop points at Ross County.
Yeah, and also they they have been left open to ridicule. And the fact is, no, I like talking about them, but one of their players has come out and said, "What's to the effect that
Never shit.
that that they've got a loser's mentality. It's not a united
Aye,
dressing room, etc. Now, if one of your players is coming out and saying that, you've got a problem.
aye, the alarm bells are ringing.
Yeah,
And I've spoke to Rangers fans over the last week, and it's and they've all said the same thing to me. It doesn't matter what manager you put in place there. Same players are still there who have cost them time and time again. Tavernier, Goldson, Lundstrom, Barisic. These players should have been let go a long time ago. So it doesn't matter what manager you put in
yeah.
place. Doesn't matter if it's Van Bronckhorst. Doesn't matter if it's Beale. Doesn't matter if it's Clermont. It does not matter. It's the same players who cost Rangers. I think Rangers fans would agree with me. I really do. I think they would agree with me. It's the same losers who
Uh,
who are in that squad.
Good news for the Celtic supporters, Josh. It looks as if Lundstrom's going to sign a new contract, so yippee.
Aye.
So that's exactly the problem. So, but
Um,
at the end of the day, Chris Sutton takes a lot of stick from Rangers fans for calling Tavernier a serial loser. I always say to him, is he wrong?
aye.
Is it absolutely wrong?
I think,
But
but we know, like a few weeks ago, up to probably the derby, Philip Clermont, was brilliant in this. That's how quickly it can change in Glasgow, and it could change again. It could change again. It, that is how it is when it's a title race. You think maybe one team, is falling apart and it could change again. It might not. It might well because
well, I hope
Rogers is.
not.
I know, of course, I don't hope not. Obviously, it might sound that I've turned into a Rangers supporter. Just to confirm, I have not. But at the start of the season, Rogers was under scrutiny. But a lot of your support, um, and because of the results, and I do think now if Celtic don't go on and win this league, I think I do think we will go and win the league. I'm not saying that it's wrapped up, but I'm very confident that we will go and make sure the title is in the bag.
It's one game at a time.
One game at a
That's the way
time.
that's the way I'm looking at it.
And I think it's good we've got the cup game in between, just to get us back into it. Um,
Definitely.
and
Definitely.
we're up against a team in Aberdeen who have not had the best of seasons, if I'm being brutally honest about it. Had a really, really poor season for the players that they've got in there. They've got your Dukes, Miovskis, Clarksons, good, decent players. They've just no
Yeah,
performed.
Aberdeen can be a dangerous animal basically because they've got goal scorers in their team.
Aye,
So we
definitely.
do need to be careful and being a semi-final as well.
They're up for it.
Semi-finals are notorious for being difficult matches, so I'm not expecting them all to be completely
Plain
easy.
sailing, aye.
I hope it
Obviously,
is
aye.
sailing, obviously, but I'm not expecting it.
Obviously, we went up there earlier. I think it was last year we went up there, or was it this season? Last time we went up there, one each draw. Obviously, Miovski scores, and then
Made
obviously
it. Ida's debut in
Chung,
Coon.
Chung gets equaliser for us. So they will be, as we said, it's a semi-final. They will be up for it. You know, Aberdeen. I've got this. By many people think that they lie down to Celtic and all that, but I
I
don't
don't
really.
buy that.
I don't entertain that if I'm being honest. But maybe that's just me. But I think they will be up for it. There is still good players there. Aberdeen should not be in the position they're in at the moment. This season for Aberdeen has been an absolute car crash. A season, you know, they had two managers, Barry Robson at the start of the
Right.
season,
Who
who done a
Celtic
good,
fans like, by the way.
aye, who done a good job. to get the job. Obviously he took caretaker charge, last at the end of last season, but I think the steam just ran out with Barry Robson. Neil Warnock was one of the worst appointments I think I've ever seen at a football club. That
Yeah,
man came up here
up in
and
a joy.
that man came up here for a holiday. Now, Neil Warnock should, in my opinion, Neil Warnock should have never been appointed as Aberdeen manager because he took a good club like Aberdeen, right, and completely just used it. And they're still in the same situation. And that's when I understand Aberdeen fans' frustrations, because they are the third or the fourth biggest team in Scotland. Um, they've got a really good budget, so they should be doing a lot better. Obviously, I think they've got a new manager now. There's a guy from Sweden or something. Elsing,
Yeah, but he's not coming
end of the
into the
season.
summer, so
Um,
so with Pierre leaving between now and the rest of the season, who was the guy originally that got it when Robson gets sacked? No,
aye.
no, I'm gonna. This isn't an Aberdeen podcast, but I will
No man,
say
it's
that
an Aberdeen. That's
I,
a the
I,
Scottish football podcast it's
I,
turned into.
I'll repeat this. The, the chairman is an absolute. He appoints managers, gives them a decent budget, and then sacks them.
Aye,
Now, I'll put it like this, and I like Barry Robson for obvious reasons. Um, However, what I will say, if Barry Robson had been given a fraction more time, I guarantee you Aberdeen wouldn't have been in the position that they're in at the minute.
aye.
And
I think
that's just fact.
the problem with Aberdeen was for me wasn't really necessarily Robson. I think when it came to the whole Neil Warnock thing, they completely bought into the whole media hype. I said at the time when Neil Warnock was appointed, this isn't going to work. There was 2 games in, and I think he was already calling players out for being this and being. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do
He,
that.
he won 2 games. Kilmarnock only because he was leaving straight after that game, and Bonnie Rig Rose at home. That was Neil Warnock's record at Aberdeen.
Hmm.
So, and and I will say this: had had um Aberdeen went and got the person they wanted, and let's be honest, I don't believe what owner employs a company to do the research over managers. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Aye.
I mean, it's
Um.
time for
Aye. So I think it's their last chance to try and salvage something for this dismal season. That's why I think Aberdeen will be up for this. I think because it's their final chance to salvage something from a dismal season. I think that's where Celtic need to be careful. Need to be careful. And we need to just go about our business. Need to just go about and make sure that we don't mess up. Or we don't make a mistake.
it's all
So
about attitude the more the choice. If we turn up with the right attitude, we'll win the game.
I think it's all about attitude and how Celtic address the game. Obviously, we've picked up a bit of form the last few weeks, and we're probably
Yeah.
in it on form at the right time of the season. Now I understand we've seen these little spots of form, and they've not really came to anything. But this is the time, and as Brendan Rodgers said last week, this is the time Celtic should be coming alive. You know, and
Yeah.
the media narrative right this season, right? I've paid a lot of attention to it. Don't necessarily agree with it. I think the narrative is very different when Rodgers was, struggling and Coman was getting the credit and stuff like that, and that's perfectly fine, because he was doing a decent job. But I don't really see the same level being hammered at Clement. Am I wrong for thinking that? But I don't really see the same level of scrutiny that Rodgers was under, and that's what I
I'll
think
tell,
he talks a
I'll
lot
tell
about
you
the
what
media
that,
narrative.
I'll tell you what that was about. When Rogers came back, Josh, I genuinely believe people in the media, people in our sport wanted him to fail. I
Hmm.
genuinely believe that. So they can say, see,
I was
told
right.
you so,
Hmm.
told you so. And and to be fair, there were times I doubted Rogers.
I know,
And
definitely.
me and you both agreed that Rogers was the best man for the job at the time. And I still do
Hmm.
believe that. But but at the time I just felt the whole come on is wonderful. I mean, if you look at it, personal opinion, and this is the last time we're going to mention Rangers.
I know.
Um, um, I would say the biggest mistake they made was sacking the manager that got them to a European final.
Aye, the Broncos.
Personally,
Hmm.
yeah.
Um, I think and I agree with you. I've questioned Rodgers at times. I've even maybe called for him to get the sack at certain points this season. And I don't mind saying this when I think Motherwell. I said at half time we'll get beat off Motherwell. He's got 45 minutes to save his job, and then thankfully Adam Eder comes on, like he's done many times since he's joined in January, and won us the game.
Yeah.
Um, so it swings and roundabouts in terms of how the criticism goes. Um, but I think that's what Rogers talks about a lot of story that Celtic, have been this and Celtic have been that, and Celtic have been, Celtic really. Let's be honest about it. Celtic
Celtic
have they
have
been
been
at their best?
average.
They've been
They've been
average.
average. Average.
But this is where Celtic need to show what Celtic are for me. This is where trophies are won. This bit of the season, and
Yeah.
on the evidence we've got so far, I'm not saying this will be the story for the last remaining 5 games. Rangers are struggling to cope with that. So this is where Celtic need to.
Uh,
We've got five. We've got 5 games to go in the league. 3 of them are at home, including that derby. Then we've got the 2 away games against Dundee and Kilmarnock. So this is where Celtic need to, and that's what makes me more confident is that we've got the players that can really. They've been there and done it. They've been there and they have done it. A lot of this squad have won trebles. Some of them have won multiple trebles. That has to count for something for me. Even players
yeah.
like James Forrest, that he had, and I'm not a big Forrest fan, right? But his experience must count for something. Callum McGregor, there's no need, there's no words. We don't need. We know what Callum McGregor is. Matt Riley won a treble last year. Achate, he's coming back. We'll go on him in a second because he is crucial for us when he comes back. So I think this is the crucial part of the season, and that goes for cup competitions as well because you want to be in that final at the end of May. And
Yeah.
and that's we want to be in that final and have a chance to win a
Especially,
double.
especially where the data is as well.
Aye,
25th of May, you all know the
aye,
selling connection with that, so you want to be on that particular day. And I'm
definitely.
pretty sure if you told Rogers at the start of the season that we would just won the week, he would say, no, 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 no good enough.
Mm. And
He says, I
and
wanted to come back and win trophies.
aye,
Plural.
and
So,
I think you know, it has been a poor season, but there has been glimpses where we've showed right we're still there, but it's been the consistency, because when we've showed those glimpses, we've had our hearts in there. A bad result. Seeing these remaining 5 games, we cannot have any of that. We need to just knuckle down, you know, um, and we need to get the results, and that includes the
I
first.
must admit, Josh, I know you never discussed last week, but no in this podcast anyway. But I would say the fans at the St Mirren game were very
Aye,
mature because they were no booing at half time.
no,
They were no getting on players' backs, and I think the fans, and I'm giving them credit here. Um, they never really got in the team's back last week. I thought maybe the bigger picture starting to seep in that we just need to go over the line here
aye.
and regroup in the summer.
I think that's a good kind of way to put it. The first half, I'll briefly touch on the St Mirren game. The first half last week, I was really frustrated. Um, but it didn't boo anything. I'm not a believer in that really unless it gets really bad. But
Hearts.
Hearts, the games like that, I'm not going to lie, I have, I booed, but that was borderline dire. Um, but I think there was a wee bit restless, and that you're going to get that. I think first half, I think the weather, the conditions didn't really help us on the game and stuff like that. And we're still playing a decent side in St Mirren, top
Yeah,
six side and stuff like that. So, but it was the second half, and when we got that first goal for Tate, that's what that and I mentioned him briefly a few minutes ago, but that's what he can do. He can turn a game like that.
it's the X factor, isn't it? It's somebody that can pick a ball up and do something a wee bit different. He's the only one of our team that could have scored that goal, in
Definitely,
my opinion. In my opinion.
because it's the wee touch on that just to set himself in the striker at the top corner. Um, if somebody like Yang or something, that's getting out of the bar. Um,
Yeah, well, you seen that with Young about 2 minutes later when he fluffed his catch.
um,
Yang is one of those players that is going to frustrate the life out of you. He
aye,
could score a worldie 1 minute and then trip over the ball the next. It's just one of the players.
I
And
think,
I think
and then
you
the
had a
second,
good idea when you said put him out on loan. I
I think,
wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
I think, come the end of the season, I think we're going to try and if he's got a future at Celtic, which probably has big questions over. I think loan might do him well. See what happens really. Then the second goal, it's a brilliant cross for Arthur Johnson.
It
And
was a brilliant game, by the way.
Kyogo,
Having
s-
watched that again, he had a brilliant game.
aye, and then Kyogo puts it in the net. Couldn't really miss it. I think it was on a plate from really, but it was good to
That
see.
cross, that cross was one of the best crosses we've put in all season, to be
Aye,
honest with you.
but it was good to see the wee man on the score sheet again.
Yeah.
Probably not been the best season for Kyogo either compared to his high standards. I think he's struggled in certain games, but we need him as well. He's the main player we
Again,
need.
I think you need to put put it in perspective with Hatati, Kyogo, Vickers, McGregor even. We've not a settled team all season either,
Aye. hmm
and that doesn't help.
Aye, but I think going ahead into this game, and we'll record this on the Friday, so it'll be tomorrow. I think it's we're in a good place, and we just need to keep that momentum going because it only takes one bad result for that momentum to kind of stall a bit. And we don't want that. We need to keep the momentum going. We need to just kind of block out the noise. Now it's been great watching Rangers drop points this week, but it's all about. I know it's not the league, but it's kind of goes this hand in hand because didn't go away the more and that could kind of stall the momentum. But that's why I'm happy it's a league game, not a league, so a cup game. Sorry, because
Yeah.
you know we're going to the league next week. We play Dundee, and then it's five games
And
until
let's
the
be
finish line.
honest, Weldon D won't be an easy game. It's probably the easiest away game you're going to get.
Um,
With all due respect to
I
Dundee,
probably,
probably
I think when it gets
the banker that you're going to get.
think when it gets to this point of the season, but um, all these teams are in the top six for a reason because they've done a brilliant job. I think the Dundee managers, is it Tony Dockett? He's done I think a superb
Yeah,
job, really.
he's manager of the year, really.
I
I
think
think to
to come up,
bring them up, build a
aye,
new squad and get a top six. And then
aye, definitely,
outside chance of Europe as well. A very outside chance, but at the end of the day, he's manager of the year. People can talk about McInnes, Naismith. I'm going to leave Celtic and Rangers
aye, I
managers
don't,
out of it because I, I don't think really we've done enough. Certainly from a Celtic point of view, couldn't really make a case for Rodgers. I know that
no,
sounds weird, and you could still end up with a League and Cup double, but
it depends what
I
they
don't.
go on. I think it depends how they judge it. Do they judge it on trophies or do they judge it? It seems to go for season to season, obviously, but I think Tony Docherty has done a fantastic job up at Dundee, and obviously got a good positive result in all night as well.
Especially the carry on with that pitch, but we're not
Aye,
getting into that
um,
because we. But, but no, but I do agree. I do agree. If it was my choice, it'd be Doherty just because of what he's done. And bear in mind, it's his first season as a manager
aye,
as well.
aye, but I think so. So I think it's focused. Obviously, Rogers spoke to the media this afternoon, and he just kind of asked for calm. So we're gonna have a wee listen to see what Rogers have to say, and we'll be back to discuss after it's finished.
Yeah, but listen, we haven't won anything yet. We have to. We can only do our work because you can't soften up, especially at this time, just because another team might have drawn or lost or whatever. Because that's irrelevant. You have to perform and get the result because if you come off it against teams that are motivated and organised, then they can give you a problem. So for us, we have to continually focus on our own performance, irrespective of what happens elsewhere. Because, as I said, we have to create our story. And for that, we have to work at it, and that hopefully will be the storyline come the end of the season. It's not how you start the marathon; it's how you finish it. And for us, we're improving day by day, looking good on the field, with still lots of improvements to make, and performances in the main being good, but still long way to go in terms of the league. 5 games is 15 points is a lot of points to play for.
I think it was obviously interesting to hear Rogers' thoughts there. The main message I kind of took away from it, he just kind of called for calm, I think, and he made sure you know he spoke a lot about how when Rangers drop points, we kind of drop our level pretty much. And I think that is the case. I Rangers drop points. Of course they would have known about it, but we need to just keep doing our business and winning our games first. I think that's probably the main point I took out of Alistair.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, Josh, the word I would use, or the words I would use for Rogers would be professional, focused, and driven. He's like that. I'm going to make sure we're on the right road and we can only affect ourselves at the end of the day. And
Aye,
even, I know you only had Rogers on, but even Greg Taylor, the much maligned Greg Taylor, said, I think was asked, were you happy that Rangers dropped points? And he's like that, no, because we can't affect it. All we
hmm
can do is focus on ourselves. And
aye,
that is, I just thought, that's professional. That's a team that know they're almost at the finishing line, so let's do it.
aye. One just big push, and obviously it starts when tomorrow to get into the final. And the final is the final, and as you said, with the added date, if people are obviously interested in things like that, it's
Yeah.
obviously a massive day in our Celtic's history. So, um,
I think we won the treble on that day as well.
I know
So
Celts didn't win that many trophies. It's
there's there's history. I mean
aye,
that is a Celtic date, which is in case you in case you're from Mars, pardon the pun.
I
That
won't sitting there.
yeah, the 25th of May is the cup final. We all know what that means for Celtic, so we want to be there.
Aye, obviously
On you
we've
go.
played. We've played Aberdeen at Hampden a few times. I remember we played them in semi-final. I think the season Rodgers left, and they get down to
Yeah,
nine
I
men. I think.
remember James Forrest scored an absolute belter
Aye,
that day.
and I think we played
Carl
them.
did in round two lose.
But I
Is
think
that sorry? Is that no the day that Lewis Ferguson, Scotland star, went went gets sent off, McInnes gets sent off, and
aye, when I
won the
aye,
ball as well. So
I think so. Aye.
that was quite entertaining.
And then obviously for me, one of the probably my best memories supporting Celtic, the Tom Rogic game and that was the final obviously, but
Yeah.
that's some moment.
I'm no one for crying coming out of games, but I cried that day just because I thought I'll never see this again. An invincible treble.
Aye,
I mean, I think, to be honest, I'll not be to about 10, 20 years, you'll, you'll take you'll take that and you'll look back at it and say, what an achievement that was. Because
aye,
let's be honest, Celtic are expected to win leagues and trophies,
no,
but
definitely,
to do an unbeaten treble is
aye,
just
special.
a special, special.
Aye, well, I think just obviously end off. We're gonna just go over what I think the starting 11s will be. I think will be probably pretty similar.
The only change I think that will be made is
It's
Liam Scales will
Liam
come in
Scales
for,
because
for the Rocky probably.
I think that as well because we've seen the, the issue that the Rocky had against Aberdeen last time. You know,
He
Miovski's.
couldn't finish the game.
So I think for me, Joe Hart and goal, obviously Johnson, Vickers, Scales, Taylor, Tati, or Ailey. Is Cal McGregor back yet, or
I think a lot will play
maybe I, I don't know if
because
I've no.
I think Roger said, and I might be misquoting him here, but I think he said that. I think we're still we need to manage him stage.
Aye,
I mean,
definitely.
no doubt he'll get minutes if we need him, but you seen how far off he was in the Rangers game. I know he come on against Murn, but the game was dead. So
Aye, I
yeah,
think I think we're probably smart. I'd go by that at the end as well because I think it's important that we, you know, at the end of the day, the league is the priority, and that's the way my kind of stance is on it. Don't get me wrong, I want to get a Scottish Cup final, I want to win the Scottish Cup, but I wouldn't want McGregor to play and he gets injured. Because we need him for this running. It's
and
massive.
especially with Maida already been out,
Aye.
you know what, it was two regulars as well. So
Um,
no,
so
be careful. Be
I think
careful.
Awata probably I'd say Hatati or Alien and then Kun Kyogo and I think Palmer will play. I think Lewis Palmer will get a
Yeah, well, Palmer plays well against Aberdeen. I can still see the outside of the foot cross. I think that was Farrow. I think
aye.
in the
I think
6
old
months.
school that aye.
I don't think you'll see O again in
No,
a
I don't
cell.
know really what's happened to him really, but I think he's
I
one of the
don't
other
think
ones.
he's injured. I just don't think
I think
he's
he's good
been.
enough. Um,
I think he might be one that'll be out the door. But
aye.
we can worry about that this summer.
So is your lineup pretty much the same then? Pretty much as me probably.
Yeah, I would go I'd actually go Forest, Parma and Kyogo. I
Also
think
Nick
James
June.
Forrest will come in.
That's interesting. I could see it. I think he's
'Cause
Rogers is
I don't see, I don't see Yang as have done enough because he was diabolical last
oh, it
week.
was terrible.
No disrespect him, but
It was
he
terrible.
was diabolical. Um, and I always think Yang's better as a sub at the
Aye, 'cause he
moment.
can run. If players are tired, you can get. He's good at dribbling, right? I'll give him that. But his crossing and his finishing is still very much out there. So maybe coming off the bench, he's got a good bit of energy, but good bit of pace. If the Aberdeen legs are tiring, really,
We're going to have a lot of the ball. You know the game it's going to be, so I
they'll
don't.
probably try and counter.
They're probably he's Peter Leven's probably going to go to try and do what he did at Pataudry.
Aye,
The only one that could play instead of Yang, and I forgot all about him, and it's terrible because I've been bumming him up something chronic the last few weeks. Could play because I
aye,
thought
that's
he could
Gavin.
throw a
Yeah.
bad game.
Aye,
Although he might go Could in the right, Forrest in the left, and we Palmer on the bench because at the end of the day, he's just back as well. So
aye.
you could do that. The good thing is, Josh, you've got options.
I don't know definitely. I've got there's options that probably weren't there in the earlier in the season. You've got players who can make somewhat an impact coming off the bench. You've not got Bernabei coming off the bench. You've not got
You've
players like
not got
that.
any left back coming off the bench.
That's true. Aye. But aye. We may as well just go into score predictions then, because I think most of our teams are pretty similar, apart from a few changes that probably don't really require much discussion. I can see why we changed, but. What you got me a score prediction for then, Alistair?
I'll go. I'll go 3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
I'm going to go 3-0. I think
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine.
You've no got me off scoring this time, no.
No. After the last time, we've hardly spoke about him. You pick up on that because we spoke about him last time, and I remember him scoring, and I actually just screamed at the top of my lungs. I knew it.
Why did I say that?
Why did I say that? Followed by an absolute an expletive, pretty much an F word. Why the fuck did I say that? Pretty much. That's what came out of my mouth. So, no, I've not got
Well,
Bales to score this time.
hopefully it'll be the last time me off skill be playing against us.
I hope. I think he will leave in the summer. I don't know where, but I think he will
I
leave.
know a lot of us are kind of hoping it comes to this end, but
I don't
know
know now.
I know you won't. I know you've kind of got a soft spot for it just because it's kept us in the title, but
Aye.
it'll really depend what Norwich want him.
I
Norwich
probably
want.
prefer either, I think, now because I go back to the transfer window we're doing, compare it to
Well,
this, then
you could, well, there's depending on the budget and Peter Lowell getting burned by a toaster, we could
we don't incite violence on this podcast.
no, I think people know what I mean by that.
I think we all know.
But I think he'll. I think there's an argument to say we could maybe end up with both. If we're ambitious, we could end up with both because I think we're both agreed that O might
He's not
leave.
good enough. He's not good enough. I've had a lot of patience, real, but I just think he's not good enough. But Celtic just need to keep focusing. That's how That's probably the statement you want to probably end it with. I think Celtic really need to just keep the focus going and make sure that the performances are still there and the results, more importantly, are there.
See, at the end of the day, Josh, it doesn't matter how we get there. Just if we come out of Hampden tomorrow in the final, job done.
Aye,
Doesn't matter how. Kind of like the Livingston game in the last round. Doesn't matter how, just get there.
I think that's probably
No matter
decent
how.
enough way to end it. But thanks for joining us, Alistair.
No bother, Josh.
That's been episode 4 of the Boys in Green podcast. We'll be back at some point tomorrow with post-match reaction, hopefully celebrating another Hampden final for Celtic. So thanks for joining us, and we'll speak to you later. Farewell.